Our very own Bobby Santoro joins us now to talk about a little bit of everything from high school to the pros. Bobby, long time. Thanks so much for coming on, and it's great to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's been too long and happy to be back.
Likewise, happy to see you. So, first off, catch us up and give us a recap on the high school football playoffs. I'm curious to hear about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, the high school football playoffs this year were crazy. I was able to, luckily be at a few of them. Got to call a couple of them too, but we saw some huge upsets. Like Riverdale became one of the stories of it. They didn't make it to the state finals, but upsetting, teams like Mendham and making last second plays. I mean, they were almost like the Lions, which it pains me as a Packers fan to say. But in two straight games, 2 games in a row, they actually were. They scored a touchdown to what would have tied the game, but they went for two both times and wound up getting it. That was a little bit of a Cinderella story, but in terms of the state championship, I mean, the best game had to be Don Bosco and Bergen Catholic, which it's Bergen Catholic obviously won their fourth state title in a row, which is amazing. It was unbelievable. And just for that, they pulled away at the end. But that first half, Don Bosco was sticking with them, hanging in there. There were big turnovers, big runs, everything you could ask for. And it was certainly just, I mean, it was a heck of a high school football season. And it's a shame that it's over, but now we're on to winter sports.
Well, I'm glad you segued because they are already underway, winter sports. Can you give us some early observations on both hockey and basketball?
Yeah. So, well, hockey is wide open. I mean, we've seen some upsets. Like, we've seen teams like, in the co-op division, which are multiple schools have one team all in one, like Kinnelon and that group of teams. They've been able to upset teams like Mendham, who normally have been good at hockey as well. Randolph is still a powerhouse as they were last year. They have a lot of their players coming back. They've been, they haven't lost yet. They haven't really been tested too much yet in terms of that. And then basketball really just got underway this past weekend, and I was actually at the Roxbury Randolph game, calling that game. And for a team, I mean, Randolph wound up winning the game by 2, and they have incredible players. But the story was on the Roxbury side. You had his name is Will Maribe. He has, you can look at it online. For the first time in a while, I've seen a high school kid dunk, and he got up there. I mean, when I tell you he was, it looked like head above the rim and was able to throw it down. It was electric to see. So Roxbury, a team that really hasn't thrived in basketball much lately, with a new coach now, they looked good. They have a freshman. Double check. Yeah, it's Evan Morgan. So a freshman playing on varsity. He didn't. He came off the bench and had 15 points off the bench. I don't believe he missed a shot. Was hitting threes, hitting twos. Looked almost like to me like Joe Johnson with the way he was kind of like with finesse and shooting the ball. So basketball's back. It's I mean, obviously there's no Dylan Harper to watch this year, but that's at Rutgers, obviously, so that's always fun. But it's exciting to see that, and as the winter goes on, we'll certainly get a feel for what teams stand out.
Well, now speaking of Rutgers, they'll be playing against Kansas State in the Rate Bowl, I believe, on December 26th. What do you think we can expect based on how they performed this year?
Well, it was, you have to be happy with the way they did perform. Now, it's going to be a question of if Kyle Monungai suits up for it. I don't think he's going to. I'm not sure. And obviously, he's been a big part of their offense. They've proven they can win without him. But it's certainly an accomplishment getting to back-to-back bowl games, getting to bowl games in back-to-back years, I should say, which is great. I mean, the killer is going to be that game, that they lost second because of a timeout on a missed field goal where they wound up losing on a last second touchdown. So that's always a killer, but you put it behind you. And if they come out and beat Kansas, it's going to be tough to go there and beat Kansas State as well. But they showed last year they could beat Miami. I see no reason why they can't do it. Can't do it to Kansas State. And then just like this next year too, they're gonna have a new quarterback, new system. So it's a ever revolving door. But I think that they're in a good spot, and I think they have every opportunity to upset Kansas State.
And the Rutgers basketball season is underway. They're off to a decent start. They most recently beat Seton Hall. I think it was 66-63. What have been their strong points so far this year?
Well, their strong point is Dylan Harper. I mean, he's the best. I'd go as far as to say he might not even be the best freshman. He might be the best college player in the state right now. That Seton Hall game, they won because of him. I mean, he dribbled up. I think it was like 4 seconds left. Was able to dribble up and just pulled up a three to win the game, which they put it on. They had it on Twitter. It was pretty cool. They had his brother doing that against Purdue a few years ago, and they played him side by side. So that was fun to see. I mean, he can score. He's got the full package. and obviously Ace Bailey is there too. They've lost some close games. They've gone through some growing pains, which is expected, with a young team. But obviously, I think this team should easily make the tournament, and you never know what happens there. I mean, I'm sure they're more than capable of upsetting other teams, other schools too, and maybe making a run. But I do see this as the only year that we have Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey here. I think they're bound for the draft.
Well, let's switch over to Major League Baseball and your New York Yankees. Juan Soto is gone. I won't even mention the contract he signed with the Mets for a number of reasons, but I do want to talk about the Yankees signing Devin Williams and Max Fried, two very quality pitchers. What are they going to bring to the team?
Well, they're going to bring a little bit more of, I'd say the more swing and miss stuff that the Yankees pitching staff was missing last year. I mean, Max Fried is, yeah, you look at the 8 years and you get a little taken back by an 8-year contract to a pitcher. But, I mean, it's not so much that of what they're expecting of him, because Garrett Cole is 34. You don't know obviously he's still got years of being an elite pitcher underneath him, but Fried has shown he's been dominant. The issue with Fried has been his performance in the postseason. He hasn't been able to pitch well in the postseason for the Braves. Devin Williams is fantastic unless he's pitching to Pete Alonso. So I mean, after that home run that he gave up in the playoffs, but yes, I mean, I like the two of them. And when it comes to Soto, look, I was, as a Yankee fan, yeah, I was, it stinks to see him go. Great for the Mets, but for Yankee fans to be upset about it, and feel hurt by it. Look, he had told us the whole entire time. It wasn't like he was like, oh, I have a love affair for the Yankees. He said he's going to be a free agent and the money's going to determine it. And Steve Cohen was just too much for Brian Cashman. And it's good for the Mets. I mean, it's going to be fun in the city. With the Yankees, with their following moves now, I mean, it's up in the air. I wrote an article about maybe Bregman, but I know Bregman is kind of hit or miss with some of these. He could provide stability. But give me Bregman. I'm not sold on Christian Walker. So if they do this Bellinger trade, which is all the hype now, we'll see what they move to after. But they need hitting. The Yankees definitely need hitting. The Mets still need more to do too, and they'll both, I'm sure, within the next even week, I'm sure we'll see both of them make moves.
Yeah, a lot of time left in this offseason. Bobby Santoro, thanks so much for coming on, my friend.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.